According to Senator Ali Ndume, who represents Borno South in the National Assembly, senators-elect vying for the Senate president seat have started using money to buy votes from their colleagues. He expressed concern that competence was being sacrificed for financial gain, and that even those without experience in legislative procedures were pursuing the position because of their wealth. Ndume stated that if he had the financial means to buy votes, he too could have become the Senate president. But he believes that competence should be the primary consideration in the selection process. Senator Ndume said this during an interview with the BBC Hausa service. And elsewhere, the Minister of Information and Culture, Alleges Mohammed, has urged the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, not to incite violence over the outcome of the presidential election. Speaking in Washington, D.C. during his official engagement with some international media organizations, the minister said that it was wrong for Obi to seek redress in court over the outcome of the polls and at the same time incite people to violence. The minister also emphasized that neither Obi nor Atiku Abubakar, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, met the constitutional requirements to be declared as president. According to him, only the president-elect, Bola Tinubu of the All Progressive Congress, met the criteria by scoring 8.79 million votes and having 1/4 of all the votes cast in 29 states of the Federation. Tonight on Daily Politics, we'll be interfacing with Honorable Babangida Ibrahim Mauta. He represents Malumfashi Kapur constituency in the 9th National Assembly under the All Progressive Congress, but joined the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, where he vied for the Senate to represent Katsina. Welcome to the program, distinguished.
You're welcome.
We're happy having you in this studio.
It's my pleasure.
Well, viewers, this is Daily Politics. I am Hamza Idris. We'll go on a short break, and when we return, the conversation commences. Don't go away.
That's good.
Welcome back. Senator, a disturbing revelation by Senator Ndume that some senators are, buying votes from their colleagues to get the Senate presidency. Could this be true? And is this also happening in the House of Representatives? Because I know you are also campaigning for someone. We'll get to that one later.
Well, we also heard about it, that some aspirants are distributing money to members, especially the new members-elect. But you see, sometimes it's difficult to differentiate between buying votes and covering expenses.
Okay.
Because you see, there are two things. Most of these members-elect are spread across the country. They come from different states. And the election of the speaker is done on the day of inauguration.
Yeah.
And that is the day is expected that all members will be on the floor for that particular assignment. But you see, if you want to meet with certain caucuses as an aspirant, you invite somebody from, let's say, Anambra or from Lagos, that they should come, you have to put at the back of your mind that they have to use flights. You have to accommodate them. and provide bidding for them. So I don't know. That's why I say it's difficult to differentiate between definition of buying votes and covering expenses where members are invited to come for a meeting. It is normal. If I invite you at my own instance that I want to meet with you, it's either I go and meet you or you come. So sometimes if you analyze the cost implication, you discover that it's easier for them to come than for you to move.
Yeah, looking at it from his perspective, it's like he is saying maybe some powerful senators, of course, simply because they want to get to that position. So they are now penetrating.
You see, let me tell you what I always tell people. Anybody that is familiar and conversant with house politics, I don't think it's yet time for that. Oh. Because you see, we still have about 2 months and anything can change. I've been discussing with some of the aspirants, especially the aspirant I'm supporting, who's Aminu Jaji, that you see, the dynamics are just so complicated to the extent that sometimes the scenario change after the swearing in of governors. You know, most of the governors are governors-elect now.
Yes.
They are just silent and quiet. By the time they are sworn in on the 29th, they are already
when they have instrument of power.
So you see, and between 29th and the day of inauguration is basically about 10 to 2 weeks, or 10 days to 2 weeks, and anything can change during that time.
So are you saying that most of the horse trading now may not likely be the end result?
No, it may not. Definitely. So many factors will come into play. You see, I'm one of the persons that I'm always concerned when you see a lot of external influence coming into play in the local politics, that members are supposed to elect their leader within themselves.
Yes.
But you see, now it has become something else, where there is a lot of interest on who becomes...
Especially from the executive arm, right?
Well, not necessarily, it's interest. There are so many interests.
Like, you mean the business community?
Let me tell you, a governor can now say, okay, I'm giving you a condition. These are the committees I want. Because the expectation is that if one of the members is chairing those committees, there's expectation that at the end of the day, he will assist in key projects to that state. There are so many factors that come into play when it comes to the issue of management of committees.
So the leadership is not just about presiding over. There are more to it in terms of revenue allocation.
There's more to it in terms of interests. There are so many things that comes into play. You see, because you see, the National Assembly are responsible for approving the national budget. And they also conduct oversight function. And in doing so, you see, there are a lot of interest that comes into play. And it has been an integral part of Nigerian politics.
Yeah. Senator Ndume also mentioned that some new entrants are also struggling to become leaders, you know, for both the Senate and House of Representatives. Is it normal?
No, it's very, very abnormal because, you see, you don't go into something they are not familiar with.
What is so special about
the speciality is that you have to understand the rules. When you are presiding, there are rules that guide the operation of the floor, the chamber. So on the day of your election, you start presiding immediately. So how do you preside when you don't know the rules? That's why it has been like that for a very long time, that you must have a legislative experience to become a president.
It's a house ground rule.
Whether the Senate rules or the House rules, there are rules that guide the operation of the chamber. And you need to understand those rules.
But so some people are now pushing, like Governor David Umahi, you know, he's going there for the first time, Senate.
You see,
he's now saying that rule, even though it was by proxy. Yeah.
You see, let me tell you what is happening.
Yes.
A lot of people will show interest of contesting for the presiding officer position. Whether they are new members or they are returning members, but everybody knows his capacity and the level of chances he has. So you see, that's why I said in a week or 2 weeks before the election, you see a lot of negotiation stepping down. Some may want to contest for the speakership so that it is an opportunity for them to be part of the leadership.
Oh, not necessarily winning the speaker's seat.
Some are negotiating for leadership. Some are negotiating for some
juicy committees.
We don't call them juicy, some committees, because you see, as a politician, what is expected is that you man a committee that you can at least lobby certain project to your constituency, and that is the essence of being in the...
And obviously, I should go for a juicy in the Nigerian context.
When you say juicy,
like works committee.
You see, when you say juicy, which means you put naira on kobo attached to it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's something that is personal when you say juicy. But you see, when you attract project to your own constituency by virtue of the position you are holding, it's the same thing with ministerial position. You cannot compare Minister of Finance, the privileges he enjoy. You cannot compare Minister of Defense with the privileges he enjoy. You cannot compare Minister of Education with the privileges he enjoy.
And that is why they are called grade A ministries.
Naturally.
So there are grade A
even in the National Assembly,
also.
We have grade A, grade B, grade C committees. They are graded according to sometimes the size of the budget. Sometimes they are graded on the basis of the number of parastatals under them. Okay. Because if you see a ministry, you see a ministry that has maybe 19 parastatals under it.
Wow. And
it's been chaired by one chairman, oversight 19 parastatals. There are committees that are...
It's why he should be stronger than a minister, Yusuf Kesi.
Well, it's not about... Naturally, ministers by protocol, they are under members.
Okay, yeah.
By protocol.
Because members are
senior
elected.
To by protocol.
They were elected.
So you see, sometimes committees are defined depending on the size of the package, the number of parastatals under them, the functions they play, and the rest of them. There are so many things that are defined committees.
Okay, let me narrow the conversation to the House now. Yeah. You are canvassing votes for your friend.
Yeah.
Is it because of friendship or there is something different or unique about him?
I have two close friends.
Jaji, yes.
Jaji is my friend. Abbas Tajuddin is my friend. We are all very close. You know what I'm saying? But you see, we are hoping at the end of the day, the zoning will come to the Northwest.
Why? Why Northwest?
Well, you see, why I'm saying Northwest, there are only two zones that are left out for now.
In the
permutation
sharing,
or whatever. Yeah. Yes. You see, the president comes from the Southwest. Yeah. That one is knocked out. The vice president comes from the Northeast. That one is knocked out. The national chairman of the party comes from the North Central. That is knocked out. Now it's left now the South, and the Northwest. And let me tell you one thing. You see, there are a lot of outcry about Muslim tickets. So you cannot have the president Muslim, the vice president Muslim, and the Senate president number 3 Muslim.
So you are in the...
So it's likely that the Senate president will come from the South. Whether it is South, whether it is South...
And most likely to be a Christian.
Naturally.
But some people, Honorable, some people are already saying that they should leave that area open, including Senator Ndume. He too was saying that the issue of religion, ethnicity should not be considered.
Under normal circumstances, if there is no external influence in the selection of presiding officers, it is the responsibility of members, either senators or members, to select
one among equals.
But in doing so, the party has responsibility and obligation to balance up. So they do what they call zoning. And zoning are mostly done in Nigeria on 8 positions. The president, the vice president, the national chairman of the party, the senate president, the speaker, deputy speaker, deputy senate president, and the SGF.
Okay, and the SGF. Yeah.
These are the zoning positions.
Yeah.
So in most cases, you find that the party will try as much as possible to have a balance, because the party will want to win election. If you want to win election, you need a balance.
Yeah.
So if you look at all those things, we are thinking that the Senate president must come from either the South or Southeast, depending on the party and relationship.
Yes.
Because no government, no president will allow somebody to preside why he doesn't have interest. So anybody that is contesting for presiding officer through proxy has minimal chances.
Yeah.
There are what we call independent projects in the parliament.
Okay.
Where people will tow against the wishes of the party. The members will put themselves together because they know
like
that.
What happened in 2015 of sorts? When Saraki and
when they did
Dogara.
Saraki and Dogara and also during Tambua.
And I remember.
In the seventh assembly.
Yes.
I'm one of the key players then. Because we...
So you are among those who rebelled against the establishment?
It's not about rebelling. It's those ones that conform with the rules of the House. Because
who was right then?
We are right because...
You that supported Saraki and Dogara in the House.
The issue is the law allow us. We saw in to protect the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Everybody sworn in against that. So we sworn in and we have our rules and we play by our rules. And the rule says members should select their leader among themselves. So any other action is advisory. Any other action is advisory. The party can only advise.
But the party called you to attend a meeting at the International Conference Center.
Yes.
But some of you,
you see,
the issue is,
you see, yes. Because we believe that as adults, we are supposed to at least somebody that will lead us.
Yeah.
Somebody that will, because we are representing the people. We are not representing the few. So in doing so, we have to think of our constituents. At the end of the day, what is the best thing for our constituents?
And that was what you did.
What we did is that we just decided to work with our rules.
But rules are bent sometimes to give room for peace and amity. There was no amity between the House, the Senate, and the President between 2015 and 2019. It was so rancorous.
No, that is not correct. People don't know what has happened.
Okay, what happened in brief? Because
no, you see, the issue is, what do we mean by... You see, the relationship. Tell me one budget that was rejected by the National Assembly. Tell me one executive bill that was rejected by the Parliament. Tell me any borrow request that was rejected by the Parliament. You see, people need to understand the extent of the relationships that are supposed to exist between the executive and the Parliament.
It because
the Constitution gave them power to approve certain requests. And the Constitution also gives them power to approve.
Yeah.
You see, so when you say that it's wrong call, I don't agree with you because there was never any wrong call.
It's not actually me, but that is the impression in the larger
that was why
society.
I said it has, even when they did the budget padding, people didn't understand exactly what happened that time. Because you see, somebody that has a responsibility of passing and approving the budget, you can't ask him that he has padded the budget. Okay. Because it is our responsibility to scrutinize the budget.
To remove from here, to add it here.
You see, you can do that. You see, not even removing. You see, let me tell you, if I'm chairing a committee now, one of our responsibility is to perform an oversight function on the committee. So in doing the oversight, we discover that that particular ministry is in dire need of emergency funds.
Yes.
And it happens that there's a basket which restricts that. And in approving the MTEP, maybe we increase the benchmark. By increasing the benchmark, it provides surplus funds. Okay. So out of that extra surplus, you allocate it to funds where there is need. And sometimes, for example, if there are projects that appear in the budget in a particular ministry and certain allocation of money has been done on that project, then along the lines there is an emergency, that there's a project that requires immediate attention for which money has not been provided.
Yes.
It's part of our responsibility to adjust the budget and provide for that funding.
Without recourse to the president?
It's not that is why they bring it to us. It's a draft budget.
Then is it a creation, the acrimony? Because sometimes you see heads of agencies, when they come defending their budgets, you know, when certain figures are mentioned, they say they are not even aware about it.
You see, let me tell you what is happening. In most cases, it's interest.
Okay.
In most cases, it's interest. I was the chairman of finance in the past.
Yeah.
And we discovered that, you see, the size of project outside the budget cycle are twice or 3 times the budget.
That's what you have in the budget?
Yes. Well, cut me anywhere. The size of the project, ongoing projects or abandoned projects outside the budget cycle are twice or 3 times the one that is in the budget.
Then where is the law stands in relation to doing things outside budgetary provisions that they are illegal?
It's not illegality. Okay. You see, when they introduce this envelope system, As far as I'm concerned, what they are doing is not budgeting, is fund allocation.
Okay.
This is the project we want to execute this year, and we're allocating certain naira on it.
Okay.
You see, the implication of all those actions is that by the time you now move out a project from the budget cycle over a long period of time, that project can disappear.
Okay. So you now push it.
You see, under normal circumstances, you push that project. If you are not allocating any money on it, you can put 10,000 naira. At least the project will remain within the budget cycle.
Okay. Okay.
But what they are doing, mostly the project, they remove it outside the budget cycle. And when you look at some of the major challenges we are having is description of project also. There's no standard format of describing projects. When you go to a particular MDA, the way they will describe the ICT or whatever, if you go to another one, so that standardization is missing. And when you query that, they will say that is how it is from the budget office. So you see, there are a lot of things that need to be done to streamline our budgetary process in Nigeria.
Yeah, very interesting area, but of course we are discussing the leadership in the National Assembly. The Northwest is also saying it is their turn to produce speaker. Why do you think the Northwest should not support the North Central?
Because the North Central, they already have the national chairman.
But Honorable, are you aware? I don't want to quote you, but are you aware that there are machinations to remove the national chairman now?
If they remove the national chairman, we are aware, you see, that...
yeah, but are you aware that there are...
No, I'm not aware of that. I'm not
sure?
aware of that. I'm not aware. See, let me tell you, some of these are just... people are trying to create something that does not exist just to justify certain actions. When you say you want to remove, let him be removed first. But as far as we are concerned, he's still the national chairman.
Okay.
And as far as the times the party is going to do zoning, he still remains the national chairman. If you look at some of the major aspirants from the North Central, you see, you discover...
Like the speaker.
Which one?
I mean, North Central. Deputy speaker, who wants to be speaker?
No, I'm not talking even about the House.
Okay.
I'm talking about the Senate.
Okay.
Because it is when you determine the Senate that determine what happens in the House.
All right.
Sani Musa contested for the national chairman. He was asked and begged to step down. That guy is one of the aspirants for the position of the Senate president now.
Yes.
But based on my explanation, there is likely to be very difficult to have number 1 Muslim, number 2 Muslim, number 3 Muslims. It may not likely work. I'm not saying it could not work, so but maybe, it may not likely work. Yeah. So there's every possibilities Sani Musa will go for the deputy Senate president. That's number 1.
Okay.
And the Northwest, the North Central also, I remember very well during the 8th Assembly when Ahmed Lowe contested for the Senate president. We were quite aware then that Akume was one of the frontline aspirants for some category of people.
Okay.
So we are now, you cannot rule out Akume in this permutation now, and Akume is from the North Central. So on the basis of this, automatically the North Central is ruled out. And you should go and note on this. So the Northwest is the only zone, and the Southeast where particularly they are bucket. And by the time you take, I was also hearing possibly between Uzo Kalu and Akpabio,
for the
one of them, and we know that the pendulum is more on the chief of Akpabio.
How? What do you mean?
This is political projections. You see, that one you may not have to be certain parameters, but what we are saying, we are looking at the antecedents of each and one of them. We are looking at the relationship between them and the government. We are looking at the relationship between them and the president-elect. We are looking at so many factors, and that is the reality.
Okay.
So if it goes to, automatically the speaker must come from the north.
And when it comes to the north,
the north is already out. The North Central is out. Automatically, it was going to be in the Northwest.
But even in the Northwest,
Honorable
Judge is not the only one.
Yeah, Abbas Tajuddin is there.
Exactly.
But you know, I mentioned something. You see, all these things are just projections.
Yes.
You see, if, for example, like me now, if I go back to my constituency, there are a certain number of people that if they are going to give appointment, they say it's Babangeda's voice.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Which means that is the essence of relationship between me and them. So you look at all these aspirants Who is closer to the government in power? Who is closer to the president? Who the president trusts? So these are some of the assumptions we are relying on. Because you have to believe in somebody. You have to trust somebody. It's a government.
Yeah.
You know, we have, there are people that are considered opposition within the majority.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So there are so many factors that comes into play.
But are we going to have
a lot of power play.
Are we going to have conformist people who just have good relationship with the executive?
It's not about, but they have the requirement. All these are added advantages. All these are added advantage. You see, all of them, they have legislative experience.
But who has more in terms of?
It's not about, you see, let me tell you.
Yes, in the legislature.
That doesn't count.
Because I think the other two, they have been in the legislature for more years than
no matter how competent you are,
yes,
no matter how excellent you are, it's not enough to run a peaceful parliament.
You can't have a rank of
you see, it's not about your ability to influence members to do what you want. That's what matters. You can be as competent as anyone, you can be as excellent as anyone, but if you lack the ability for members to toe your line, then you have a problem. And I always tell people, how many years does it take for one to graduate in a university? If you finish your secondary school, you do your JAM, you go to university, most of the social science courses require only 4 years. And you'll be awarded a degree. And the assumption is, once you are awarded with that degree, you have the competency to operate within your field of study. Any additional postgraduate is just an additional.
That first degree.
So for somebody that has spent 4 years, let me give you an example. You buy a car. You are a driver. You learn how to drive 4 years ago. But you drive your car once in a while. And you have never traveled with the car.
Yes.
You have never traveled with the car. You have never traveled on a journey.
Yeah.
But this is somebody that spent just 1 year. He drives almost every day. He travels from one town to another, one state to another. He drives in the night. He drives during rainfall.
So he starts
So it's not about the number of years you spend, but the number of active years you have in the parliament. That's what matters. So people should understand the difference between being in the parliament for 8 years, for 12 years, but how many years do you have as active? Which means you are very punctual in the chamber. And you are regular, you attend. Let me tell you, you are a journalist. Anytime we are doing consideration of reports on the floor, go and count how many members stay behind. Sometimes 20, sometimes 11.
But why is it so?
That's an attitude. That's what I'm telling you. So somebody that has not been regular in consideration of report, what legislative
experience? Even if he is there for 12 years, it doesn't mean
how he doesn't, because he doesn't participate. So if somebody, for example, you are in the National Assembly, you have spent 4 years, 8 years, or 12 years, but you are not active at committee activities.
You are zero.
You are zero.
That's why I wanted to ask whether some people, aspire to go to the National Assembly just for status symbol.
Well, that's the responsibility of their constituents to monitor and see how functional they are, whether they are doing what they are assigned to do. But when people are shouting about this one has spent 8 years, this one has spent 4 years, you see, we have to get them again. Are these active yes, or are just yes?
Yeah.
So legislative experience it is you that will acquire that.
It's a relative term.
It's a relative term.
Good.
So it depends on you.
All right, Honorable, thank you very much. I will still ask you more questions on the legislature before we move to your home state, Katsina. Viewers, we will go on a short break. Don't go away. We'll be back shortly.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at English squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow the conversation across our platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. I still have Honorable Babangida Mahuta from Katsina State. He represents Malumfashi Kapur Federal Constituency. Yeah. Yes, maybe one or two questions on the drama around the election of presiding officers in the National Assembly. Now, to what extent do you expect interference from the executive this time around, so as not to have what we experienced in 2015? You are a ranking member.
You see, if you look at what happens, like you said, in the 8th Assembly, where the party could not manage itself, and what happened. And if you notice, subsequently, during the 9th Assemblies, you were very careful, and they were timely. The intervention was timely. The position of the president was very clear, and the position of the party was very clear. You see, under normal circumstances, those of us from other sides, we believe that that speakership was just the president that gave PEMI, but not the Southwest.
Okay.
Because you see, all of us, we came out aspiring to become speaker. And one of the reasons why we were told not to is because the president came from my state. But you see, if the president came from my state, and the vice president also is from the Southwest, so why should PEMI be allowed to contest? The seat of the president and the vice president is a joint ticket. Yeah. So anything that does not permit me, because the president comes from the same state, that disqualifies me, is the same disqualification that disqualifies PEMI. But because of what happened in the 8th Assembly, certain considerations were ignored. And that was why, at the end of the day, PEMI was able to become the speaker. You see, we've been hearing a lot of people, some of the aspirants, especially those who we believe may not like the position of the speaker, may not be likely be zoned to their side. They are saying that they want to run an independent project, and we laugh.
Okay.
Because we know that
maybe a repeat of what happened.
None of them has the capacity. None of them, and I say it, none of them can do it.
So there will be mutiny of sorts this time around.
You see, all of them will rely on the party for support, and they can't work against the party.
Okay, final question on the National Assembly. Are you not worried, the attrition rate? How many members, original members,
well,
who had experience are going back?
You see, it's a source of worry, but most of these problems was caused by governors. You see, when you don't allow democracy to work, when you don't allow people to select who represent them, then that is the beginning of the problem.
So how are they going to cope now? Because you've been in the National Assembly since 2011, right?
See, it's going to be, honestly, a serious challenge for any presiding officer.
This time around?
Yes, because we have more than 100 committees, and in the 9th Assembly, only 47 came back.
In the 9th Assembly? In
the 9th Assembly, member of the 9th Assembly that came back.
You were among the lucky ones that came back.
Yeah, I didn't come back. I didn't come back. I went to contest for the Senate and I lost.
No. I'm going to that issue of the Senate.
No, that's why I said I didn't come back.
Exactly,
I'm a sitting member, but
yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I have not returned for the 10th Assembly. I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
So what we are saying is that, you see, if you look at, even though you have not reached that side, you see the governors, in most cases, interfere with what the people want. And that caused us a lot of problems. Sometimes, as a result of those actions, the party lost out to opposition party.
Like what happened to you in Katsina?
You see, if you look at Katsina, when we, in 2011, all the senators and members were new. We were 12 members CPC and 3 members PDP. Later on, Nasru Sanzang Gondara moved to CPC. He left PDP, so we had 13 members and 3 senators, and all of us were new.
Yes.
So when we came to the 8th Assembly, APC won throughout, all the 3 senators and all 15 members House of Reps.
The Buhari thing.
Yeah. So unfortunately, because we couldn't manage ourselves as a party, and the leadership could not also manage the aspirations of people, certain sentiments were introduced. If you look at the performance of Katsina in terms of the returning members, we only have 2.
Yeah.
It's only Sada Soli and somebody from the PDP, Salisu Majikiri, that was a former member that is returning now. But all the other 13 are new members.
Yeah.
And the implication of this is that, you see, when you're allocating chairmen or committees, you also consider cognizant experience. Because you give people that you believe can manage the committee, because none of them will have less than 30 members as their committee members. The least you have 26. And part of those 26 members may be, you may have some experienced members, you may have some ranking members as members of the committee. So sometimes it's very difficult for chairman of the committee to function effectively. So in the course of his performing his duty, you see there are a lot of mistakes, errors, and blunders, which we just manage it within ourselves. Now we have over 222 members as new, and we have about 100, over 100 committees.
Yes.
If you say, okay, 100 committees and 100 deputies, that's about 200. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you don't have that number that can effectively manage and preside over committees.
So it's actually a problem.
Honestly, they have to embark on aggressive.
Okay, I actually ask you this question on the attrition, because whoever we ask, most legislators, they take the blame to the governors. But we, in the course of our analysis, sometimes we see you, the representatives, are the architects of your problems. For instance, you, Honorable, you've been in the House since 2011.
Yeah.
But during the last season, you now, apart from leaving the APC for NNPP, you didn't vie for the House, you went for Senate. Don't you think this is a factor?
No, it wasn't a factor. Let me tell you what happened. I ran a program here, sometimes immediately during the crisis.
Okay.
You see, in my own case, it was only my election, primary election, that was scheduled in the whole Kazana. My election was supposed to take place on Friday, just like any
For the Senate, right?
No, for the House of Reps.
Okay.
For the House of Reps. I contested House of Reps in APC.
That is it, yeah.
So when the governor realized that he has going to lose out, I said, I used a word which your even presenter was asking, not kidnapping. He warehoused the delegates.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
He warehoused them somewhere.
You warehoused them somewhere.
Yes.
And they slept where he warehoused them, and they left there on Friday. And when they came back, the election was supposed to start anytime 8 to 10. But my election could not start until 8 p.m.
Because of the interest.
Because they were delegates were housed. You know what I'm saying?
Already more or less
they were not allowed. You know what I'm saying? Their free will. They are just trying to insist that they vote their choice. When, unfortunately for them, assuming that election held on Friday and won my election, on Sunday, the election was rescheduled from Friday to Sunday. On Sunday, these people, surprisingly, after we have done accreditation of delegates on Friday, and the election commenced, we have done 1, 2, 3 wards, then there was a heavy rainfall, which disrupted the process.
Yes.
When we come back on Sunday, they come with a different list. Not only different list, they even changed the committee. Because it was very clear for them that they're going to lose out. And they are bent down on, they must replace me. Well, I prayed to Almighty God to choose for me. I pulled out. I went to NNPP.
Yeah.
I went to NNPP because I believe me and Rabi Ukonkoso, we share so many things in common. Because what we're after is our people. On the day they did what they did, go and ask anybody in my constituency. Elderly people who are crying.
Because of what happened to you?
Because of what happened, and you were not allowed to exercise.
But what offense had you committed?
Who?
You.
Well, I don't know.
For you not to be in the
that question should be, you should answer it. We done it the first time. In 2011, he didn't support me, I won. In 2015, he didn't support me, I won. In 2019, he didn't support me, I won. So that thing is on them. That this time around, he's the governor. And look at the implication of what he did.
What are the implications?
About 6 members, sitting members, full out of APC.
Yeah, I have names, of course, many including yours.
You see, they pulled out of the APC, and at the end of the day, look at what happened now. Between the APC and PDP, look at PDP had 6 members. 6 members.
So if not for imposition, this wouldn't have happened.
You see, not even that, because APC is intact in Katsina. Let me tell you, if not because he did what he has done, APC will have doubled their votes. Whatever votes they score here will have doubled.
For the governorship, or you are a party?
And if you go and see what happened in Mashidusi, they negotiated. Because of the crisis between Shema and Lado Group. So they negotiated and sacrificed their candidate for Mashidusi and allowed PDP to win.
So who is the biggest loser in Katsina now in what happened? Because I know that even during the gubernatorial primaries, it was alleged that the governor did not support Rada, and at the end of the day, he too maneuvered his way to, he was able to
win his election. You see, it's just unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. When you are a leader, you should maintain the role God has given you. You see, politics is like a game of chess. Once you make a wrong move, you are finished. And he has already...
So who is finished now?
He has already... in the next 2 months, he's gone as governor. So it depends on what you have done in the past.
That will count for
Yes. Because you see, you cannot insist on injustice. Sit on injustice. And you assume that all is going to be well. It's not possible.
Is this partly responsible for the defeat of APC in the presidential election in Katsina?
Naturally. I said Katsina is APC. Katsina is APC. But they gave a window. Out of all the members that move, look at Dr. Mustafa that moved from APC to PDP.
Yes.
It's just because of not where injustice. The governor-elect won his primaries.
Okay, he won.
But you see, he won his primaries. But you see, when somebody deceives you, you see what I'm saying? When you have a very close friend that disappoints you, it's not about losing the election. It's about looking at the relationship. So sometimes, what makes me to fall out of APC is not because I don't want APC. We built APC. They're not out there. I was in ANPP when they were in PDP. We contested election. We were in the opposition, we were in the PDP. In 2011, we were in CPC. Most of them were in PDP. They came back to, after the APC, go and check us out. 80% of political appointees were former PDP members. That was what brought the issue of APC Akida. Because APC Akida, majority of them were the people that came from the APC, the ANPP.
Yeah.
We've been with Muhammadu Buhari over the years in the opposition. These people were at the other side. And some of them will not claim that they share the same ideology with Buhari. We just laugh.
Some are saying maybe it's because of dismal performance of the president that he was unable to deliver his party.
You see, okay, let me tell you. What I did in my constituency, not only in the north, not only Katsina, not only in the north, in the whole country, you can rate me outside 1 to 5.
In terms of performance?
Yes. So it's not about performance. It's about selfish interests of certain groups. So that is exactly what happened with the president. It's not about dismal performance.
Do you see them paying a price for what happened now?
When you say price, I don't know what you are relating the consequences.
Because I'm talking about now, maybe Ashwaju, will he look at Katsina and say, these people love me?
Well, you see, it depends on the extent to which he understood what play around.
Okay.
Whether somebody is directly responsible or somebody is not directly responsible.
Yeah.
So it's left for him now to do that objective assessment and see the extent to which who contributed greatly to my success. And that is natural. Because every state has a certain number of appointments that they cannot go beyond. And whether 4 or 5 people that are seeking for appointment and only 2 is available, then you have to consider other factors that makes you to select one of them.
Okay, Honorable, is it your choice when you moved to NNPP that you went for the Senate, right?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not a too ambitious person.
Oh, okay.
Because you see, I was telling people that it's easier for me to be in a familiar environment.
Okay.
I've been in the House representing 2 constituencies. I have done what I can do. There is no household I have not touched in my constituency.
From 2011
there is no project I have not executed in my constituency. Me and my people are one, and one the same. Yesterday, we were discussing with one of the members that replaced me. He was telling me, he said, honestly, assuming you contested for your position, it would have been very difficult for us to win the election.
Because that was why I said maybe, I asked this because, I asked you a question on ambition. Yeah.
You see, me, I don't allow my ambition to override relationship. The guy that was contesting under NNPP,
yes.
Before he moved to NPP, he was in PDP. He came to me. He said, Honorable, sorry, I want to move to NNPP and secure a ticket. I'm going to contest with you. I say, it's good, because it's good for somebody to have that guts,
the courage.
The courage and whatever. This is somebody that I give the go-ahead to go and contest. So because of my selfish interest, he did it openly on his own.
Okay.
Said, please let me step down for you. I cannot ask him to step down just because I want to be in the house. Because to be in the house is not the end of the world. There are so many ways you can discharge responsibility as a Nigerian citizen. And why I'm happy, I have spent 12 years representing my people, and I have done it effectively. I have done it excellently well. I had a good relationship with my people, and we are separating happily, all of us smiling. That's my greatest joy.
Yes, Honorable, I have a feeling from my conversation with you as if your soul and mine, they are still in APC rather than NNPP. Am I correct?
Well, you see, the reality is that, honestly, when I'm on the floor, sometimes I forget I'm in opposition. To be honest with you. Because I have been there over almost 15, 16 years.
Right from the CPC days.
Right from the NPP, not CPC. CPC came after Buhari left NPP. You see what I'm saying? And APC was formed. After Buhari left NPP, we were stranded. Because you remember I didn't move to any political party.
Yes.
So we formed a kind of a support group. I was the secretary of the support group for Katsina. Because we have to hang around somewhere until he decides which party. So when he moved to APC, we went together. So if you look at most of my associates all my life, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they are.
So you see, when you look at NNPP, it's more like a transition.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That is the reality on the ground.
And is this what informed your decision while in NNPP to now canvass for Honorable Jaji to become Speaker?
Yeah,
because you feel
because you see, I'm a sitting member.
It's beyond party lines.
You see, I'm a sitting. Naturally, in every election, when we did Dogara, APC as a ruling party gave us 60 votes and PDP gave 127. That was why on that day, in order to save the same situation that happened in the Senate, where Ekoromadu was elected as Deputy Senate President, they wanted to attempt it in the House, and we stopped it because of the respect we have for the party. We want to show the party that what we are doing is not against the party. Because they wanted to make a nomination. I nominated the Deputy Speaker, so PDP wanted to nominate another, and with their number and our split, they can get it. So we have to suspend the session for close to 20 minutes, conversing, begging, and whatever, before they allow us to, we nominated last week and you won the election.
All right. I actually wanted us to discuss elaborately our second tidbit, the claim by Lai Mohammed. So I want just in 1 minute, what is your take? He was saying Peter Obi is actually committing treasonable act by calling for violence because of the outcome of the presidential election. What is your take on this, and how do we get it right?
Well, honestly, I'm not a lawyer. I cannot interpret the constitution.
But is he going overboard, the Lai Mohammed?
Well, he maybe has information that I don't have.
Yeah.
You know, he's in government. He may have some information that I don't have.
But why are politicians, after going to court, insisting on now instigating their followers to? You
see, they may have a motive. It's left for the security agency to discover whether it's a genuine motive or it is they want to achieve certain actions. Yeah. It's not our responsibility because when you go to the court, you have to believe in the judiciary. You have to trust the judiciary that whatever the outcome is going to be in the best interest of the party in dispute. But you see, to classify somebody based on certain actions, I don't think, if personally, I don't have adequate information to describe him that he has committed certain sins. But Lai Mohammed may have some additional information and based on what is going on. And you see, it's natural that some people deceive themselves. You see, when you look at the number of votes Peter Obi got, one of the constitutional requirements is that you must have 2/3, which is 24. And you see, if you look at the number of seats covered by Peter Obi, if he has 10 million votes, he can't be a president.
He can be.
He can, because he has not met the spread.
But what Tinubu got, is it enough to say that, okay, he has the mandate of all Nigerians?
Yeah, well, it's not about the mandate of all Nigeria. You see, it's our constitution. The constitution said simple majority.
He has 8 million.
And if you look at the total vote of the opposition, it's close to 13.
So what is the final verdict?
You see, the party is that he has won his election. And that is the provision of the law.
But those who did not vote for him
let me tell you, some people lose senatorial because of one votes.
Yeah, and majority carries the day.
When we did, during Dogara and Pemi, the difference is just 8 votes. So if you split 8 votes 4-4, then which in the margin is very minimal. You cannot claim that Pemi doesn't have followership on the floor. So see, it's our constitution, it is our law, and we have to operate by our law. Once you have a simple majority, you have won your election. Once you have the spread, none of the other people got the spread. He's the only one that got the spread. So as far as that constitutional provisions are concerned, he has won his election.
Thank you very much. I wish we have more time.
Unless until the Supreme Court decides.
All right. I wish we have more time to discuss your life in sports, because you led a committee, and I heard that you played for Funtua Zone.
No, I play a national team, not even for. I play for my NYC director's.
Exactly. We will invite you again to discuss this.
Yeah, when you
some
talk
other
about
time.
sports, you'll be surprised.
Yeah,
I'll come with some.
I know. That's why I mentioned, but we will have you again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Babangida Ibrahim, for coming to the program. I will enjoy conversation with you.
Thank you.
Viewers, and that's a wrap on today's package. Join us again for another interesting program. For now, bye-bye. I'm Hamza Idris.